Good afternoon, welcome to Sus News. I'm Lauren Hoard.
And I'm Emily Stoner. Here are today's headlines.
Russia has announced that the US missile airstrike on Syria is in violation of their air safety deal. According to Russian monitoring tools, only 23 out of 59 missiles reached the Syrian airbase.
A truck has driven into pedestrians in Stockholm. It has not yet been determined if it was an accident or if it was intentional.
And Brighton and Hove are increasing their central bus fare for the first time in 5 years.
The US has launched a military airstrike against Syria, targeting the airfield which supposedly launched a nerve gas attack this week. 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles were fired from 2 US Navy ships in the Mediterranean. According to a Russian monitoring tools, 36 out of the missiles did not reach the airbase in Syria. Syrian officials are reporting that 9 people were killed. Michael Fallon, the UK's Defence Secretary, says the UK is in full support of the missile strike, saying that he and the Prime Minister were kept informed throughout. Russia has condemned this act of aggression, suspending the air safety agreement with the US. President Trump is saying the strikes were vital in the interest of national security.
Recent reports have revealed that it is becoming increasingly stressful for individuals parking their cars within hospitals. This has been as a result of a number of unreasonable rules being put in place by the hospitals themselves. These rules have led to people having to rush back to their cars in order to avoid receiving any penalties. Our correspondent Marcella Hummer has more on the story.
According to an RAC investigation, too many hospitals in England have unreasonable rules which causes stress when it comes to car parking.
The report has revealed that many hospitals forces drivers to pay as soon as they enter the parking. This leaves some patients to overestimate and overpay for their stay. It appears that a third of the hospitals only offer car park payment in cash, with no credit or debit card options.
There's not enough parking in hospitals. I think it's quite stressful, and I imagine if you actually had to visit an ill relative and you couldn't park, that would really add to it.
40 trusts have said many people have to pay when they enter the car park, leaving them to guess how long they will have to stay in the hospital and making some rush back to their cars to avoid extra penalties.
I think hospital car parking is expensive and people like to get early for their appointments, so you have to allow that extra time.
While most hospital car parks are free in Scotland and Wales, hospitals in England charge visitors, patients and staff for their stay. Hospitals such as the Sussex County Hospital here in Brighton offers a 20-minute stay for free, and the price thereafter is set to £2.50 for 2 hours.
The RAC has urged more hospitals to put credit, debit, mobile phone and contactless facilities in place, so fewer people are expected to carry cash in order to park. I'm Marcella Homer from Sus News, Brighton.
This month, Brighton and Hove Bus Company are raising fares for the first time in 5 years. To avoid this increase, commuters can buy their tickets in advance on the Brighton and Hove Bus app. The company hopes this will help avoid delays and lead to a smoother bus service. Our reporter Guy Camposato investigated this story.
From April 25th, Brighton and Hove Buses is increasing its fare, covering the central area from £2 to £2.20. This will be the first rise in 5 years. The company says increasing congestion in the city has largely contributed to the bus operator reviewing its annual fares to encourage a change in behaviour in its customers towards buying tickets in advance to prevent delays to journeys. The 1.5% increase in revenue from the change will hopefully help the bus operator to maintain service levels of buses severely affected by congestion-related delays. It will still be possible for people to avoid this change by buying a Centrefare M ticket on the Brighton and Hove Buses app for £2.
We have received reports of an incident of a lorry in central Stockholm driving into a store. 3 people have died according to the Swedish police. The Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven has said that everything is pointed to an act of terrorism. It's been reported that many more are injured. Police have not yet determined if the incident was an accident or intended. We will keep you updated with more on the story as it progresses. Recently, there has been a significant rise in the number of people having to receive treatment in Sussex due to dog attacks. Hospital admissions relating to dog attacks has increased by 300% in the last 4 years. Statistics have appeared after a toddler was attacked in Kent. They claim that the rise in the number of dog attacks could be down to the actions of irresponsible dog owners.
The council has introduced a public spaces protection order, leading to many people protesting against the fixed fines outside St Peter's Church. Homeless people in Brighton are outraged at this new law, saying that it is ridiculous and unfair to people who have nothing. We are joined by our reporter Alicia Gardner live in the studio. Hi Alicia, can you explain to us what the new PSPO law means for homeless people in Brighton?
Well, it gives the council the power to issue fines to travellers and people sleeping in tents in these parks. But obviously now it will rise to the question of where these people are going to go, especially considering the fact that Brighton has already had a huge problem already with homeless people.
So does this mean that homeless people in Brighton could be fined for being, well, homeless?
Essentially, yeah. A protest has been signed by 925 people against the order in addition against these people already. So, yeah, the people camping outside St Peter's Church have already signed. I even suggested the action being taken earlier on.
A group of homeless people and travellers have joined in a force outside St Peter's Church to protest against the public space protection orders around the city. The PSPOs are giving the council officers the power to issue fines to travellers and people sleeping in tents in 12 Brighton and Hove parks and green spaces. It also covers antisocial activities, driving on the grass, lighting fires and fly tipping. Councillor Jill Mitchell, chair of the city's Environment Committee, said, "We have wonderful parks and open spaces, and the PSPOs will help us ensure everyone's enjoyment of them is not spoilt." Homeless people found to be sleeping in these areas could face an on-the-spot fine of up to £100, which if unpaid could increase to £1,000 and even prosecution.
This Sunday, the Brighton Marathon is set to return to the city. For over 30 years, the marathon has been one of the most popular events running in the country. It commences at Preston Park, in which competitors will run through a route which takes them past some of Brighton's most popular landmarks, including the most recent I-360 Tower. The event village at Madeira Drive will be opening today, allowing participants to now go and pick up their merchandise as well as receive top tips from the marathon's experts. Members of the public will be able to go down on Sunday to watch the event in support of the participators. According to the event organisers, some of the best spectator hotspots will include the Brighton Bandstand as well as the North Lanes.
Overseas companies are being asked to declare their ownership of UK property. This is in an attempt by the government to crack down on money laundering after the Panama Papers leaks last year. £180 million worth of UK property is being investigated for corruption. The document hopes to make the UK a less attractive place for economic crime.
Today's headlines were:
Donald Tusk says that the EU will work with the US in hopes to end brutality in Syria.
the new public spaces protection order is being protested by a group of homeless people outside St Peter's Church today.
Brighton and Hove buses have raised their central bus fare by 20p for the first time in 5 years.
And we will keep you updated with everything that's happening in Sweden.
That's all your news for now.
I hope you can join us here again at Sus News.